Hey everybody, I'm Rupert. Hope you're having a good day. We'll be hiking up the Te Puia Track with the final destination of Te Puia Lodge. So right now it's a bit cloudy, overcast, about 10:30 in the morning, and tomorrow we'll be picked up at 3 p.m. in the parking lot. So just a one-night stay, but I hear the landscape is absolutely incredible. Lush mountains. The Mohaka River is basically where the track follows through most of the way. And yeah, it should be amazing. So hope you enjoyed as much as I will. So I'm about 20 minutes in and we have our first water supply. So I just came upon this nice spot next to the trail on the Mohaka River. The sun's out, it's a nice day. It's warmed up a bit. I think it might be a good time to go for a swim. Let me just feel this water. Yeah, it's pretty cold, but you know, it might be what I need. Okay, I'm just doing some breathing technique to start. I think I'm just gonna go right in and out because it's not very warm. So it's probably about 11:30 in the morning. My hands especially are still feeling really freezing from jumping in the water there, but I think if I keep moving I'll be all right. We're all alone up here. We saw one or two other cars in the parking lot, but generally I have the track to myself. Back again at the Mohaka River. Really different to the entire ecosystems of British Columbia where I come from. There's a trail marker. Crossing a small creek that feeds into the river. So I just reached this beautiful river valley. Amazing view up here. Trailed this one up on this rock. Now we're starting to climb up the mountain. More barren landscape. So as I was just crossing this little stream, to avoid getting in the water, I just went by this bush. And this is some plant a bit similar to stinging nettle. And it's absolutely deadly when you go next to it. Just makes big red patches on your skin that are itchy and painful. Definitely not recommended. So avoid those plants. Beautiful little stream here. You can see these big drops. Really don't want to fall off there. If we walk down here, curves around. We got the Mohaka River. Beautiful. It's going all the way down there. Back down in the valley. Hey, I'm back. So we're just curving around this little valley. Once again, just really stunning rivers. Another trail marker there. Earlier on I saw an egg in the trail marker. So I assume it's not only a trail marker, but some sort of cage. Hey guys, so we're approaching a blue building, which I can only assume is the hut, unless it's some sort of ranger's cabin. Yeah. There's the washroom. Amazing. Finally here. What a great system they have. So I just opened the door and nobody's here. Completely empty hut. Except for there's a couple backpacks over here, so I assume those guys are at the hot springs now. Amazing. They actually have relatively comfortable beds, it seems. Let's feel these. Wow. What could you ask more for in a mattress? Even got a fire exit in this hut. They even have a wood stove. Wow. So it's got in here over by the window. Very characteristic of a British colony. We have the New Testament. So we just arrived here. The hut's right next to the river, which is pretty amazing. It's probably about 3 o'clock now, so there's maybe an hour and a half left of daylight. So I think I'm going to quickly go over to the hot springs, which is like a 45-minute walk. And yeah, it should be amazing. I just don't want to be walking back here in the pitch black, but we'll see. So I just passed the two people that I am staying in the hut with. I'm probably about 10 minutes away from the hot springs now, and what they recommended doing was jumping in the hot pool and then jumping in the cold river. And that way you get the cold shock protein, and it's like the best of the the Wim Hof method and whatnot, but you don't have to actually freeze afterwards because you can just go back in the hot pool. So I just ascended down to the river. Kind of sprinted because don't have too much daylight left, as you can see, but I reckon it couldn't be more than 5 minutes away. Here we are. The Mangatainoka Hot Springs. I'm sure I didn't pronounce that right. So, they're actually in these little bath things. That's quite interesting. I just had this romantic idea of like the mountains above and just like a lightning storm behind and just this perfect pool right next to the river. But I guess I can't expect much, but wow. So I don't know if you can see, but down here there's quite a lot of this sort of white foam or plasting or some sort just on the riverbed or creek bed. Yeah, they say that you should not put your head underwater because it's very it can contain gangrene and stuff. As I was just saying that sentence, I basically was just like, what? because over here, I'll try and make the settings good enough. So basically, there's all these slightly eerie faces. That's a skeleton there. Wow. I really don't want to touch these, because I do not know the origins of how old these are. I hope that I'm not cursed just by filming these. When I was over there, basically just next to the falls, I smelled a deeply putrid, terrible kind of rotting smell. And that must be the springs themselves. So I'm gonna head in now. So it really does feel quite a bit slimy, but all in all, it's very warm. The pool to the left is actually quite a lot hotter than the one on the right, the first one I went in. It's where the water first comes. Oh. So we're gonna jump in the water and then come back. Whew. Wow. What a truly incredible landscape, and what a perfect thing to occupy your time with on such a landscape. Here we are. I'm going to jump in and run back to the hot spring. Oh, 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 oh. That's fucking cold. Oh, oh. 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 Gotta get in here. Oh. That's nice. Probably head back and make some dinner. It was just such a great experience. I don't think I'll ever forget it. Yeah, it was cold when I was in there. I felt seriously cold and I was like, oh, I gotta get in the pool. I guess I'll see you back at the hut and I'll be coming back here tomorrow morning for sure. Home sweet home, finally arriving at the hut. Hopefully if it's a clear night tonight, I'll get some night sky photos, maybe a time lapse, so we'll see if we find that or not, but should be good. Good morning, everybody. So it's around 10:15 now. I woke up around 20 minutes ago, got everything packed up. So actually, after I got back to the hut last night, I was expecting to meet the two people that I saw on the trail earlier, but I actually met this old couple who were working on a trap line nearby. It's a trap line that gets rats and other invasive species. And we talked a bit, and I mean they had some connections to Canada, but we ended up going to bed at around 7, just because I mean it had been dark for 3 hours, because it's actually today is the winter solstice, so it's the shortest day of the year, June 20th. But yeah, I realized though afterwards that it really affected my sleeping schedule. So I went to bed at around 7. I woke up at 9:30 and I was just so comfortable in bed. I was like, oh, it must be 3 or 4 in the morning. Maybe I can go to the hot springs early, get an early start. Then it had only been an hour and a half. So it really was quite difficult to get back to bed, but I sort of went in and out of sleep for a long time, and I basically ended up having 4 or 5 different dreams, all extremely vivid and memorable. I wrote them all down, except one of them was a lucid dream. And I don't know if you've heard the stereotypical representations of lucid dreams, you know, like you can fly and all these fantasy things happen, you just fly through buildings and meet childhood friends, and you know, just all these very interesting things that you're like, oh, I mean, that's cool, but how does that really happen? Well, but these depictions are absolutely true. So basically, I mean, obviously it was because I had an idea in mind of what other people's experiences had been like. But so at the beginning, I just basically put my arm up and I flew, and it was very easy. I was like, wow, I can fly. And I just like remember going into the clouds and sort of putting my arms up and having to somehow balance myself, even though it was a dream. And I was actually quite dizzy. And another thing about it was that the physiological effects that you would go through, say if you were flying, were not that different than my sleeping body's effect in the dream. I mean, for example, I woke up several times throughout the night after a few dreams, but after this dream, my body was profusely sweating versus all the other dreams where I wasn't at all. But afterwards I realized that I put my hand up to fly and I couldn't fly anymore, so I was kind of disappointed, and I feel like that was a time when I might have woken up, but then what I did was very strange. So I realized that you fly the fastest when you go like this, versus when you're like this or just like that with one finger, you don't fly very fast. So I was experimenting with that. So I was going like this, and I was just like jetting through the sky, just sending it. Whereas if I was like this, I was going a bit slower. So yeah, really interesting state of consciousness to be in. Seriously memorable experience. So I don't have too much time before I have to get back to the parking lot, so I'm meeting my mom's friend at 3, so I'm gonna head to the hot springs. And yeah, it's quite a cold morning, so it should be a good time to jump in there and warm up, and then I'll start the big trek back to the parking lot. So passing the helicopter pad here. I don't think I'm up for another river bath. Seriously cold. So beautiful morning view of the bridge. You can see the sunlight slowly trickling onto the tops of the peaks nearby. Finally, the path is starting to become illuminated by the sun. Yeah, it's a very cold morning. You gotta stay active if you want to be warm. So here we are, with all the ominous creatures on the walls over there. So we're saying a final goodbye to the Te Puia Lodge. Still frost on the ground over there. So I've been climbing upwards for about 30 minutes, finally getting to these absolutely stunning views. Probably hovering between 0 and 5 degrees Celsius, which is, it seems a bit cold, and there's been times when I've been wearing my jacket and getting too hot, so I take it off, but then I'm getting too cold, so it's the perfect temperature. Amazing rock face on the mountain over there. Big drop off right there. Yeah, if I go too close, I become dizzy, and it's not really a fear of heights as much as a fear of being in a dangerous situation, because if I were to fall down there, I'd be done. Since I left an hour ago, it said I had 3 hours to go till I'm back at the parking lot, but yesterday it took me at least 4 hours. I mean, I did stop and swim, and I was taking photos a lot, but I was supposed to meet at 3, and it's possible I'll be late, maybe 3:30 or 4, but we'll see how fast I can run there. Man, I'm tired. Slightly cloudy. Skydiving is nothing compared to just even seeing this drop off here. Probably have about an hour and a half at the least until I'm back at the parking lot. I need to go pretty quick to make it on time, yeah? So I'd say this is a pretty good spot to stop for a snack and a drink of water. So it's starting to get windy and cloudy now. It's probably 10 minutes to 3, maybe 20 minutes from the parking lot, approximately. The last or the beginning part of the trail is absolutely amazing. You're just on this fine ridge, all the nearby mountains, and I'm not sure if the best way to describe these mountains are kind of big rolling hills or kind of semi-tropical mountains, but I'm sure neither of those descriptions are quite correct. So the hike is nearing its end. The parking lot is just ahead. So I'm going to thank everybody for watching, and yeah, if you enjoyed this video, maybe I'll be making more like this in the future, so subscribe if you'd like. Until next time.